right, so yeah, you guys are standing on the edge of the skiff, and you're watching the giants come down. Now, they are about, probably, I mean, they're only about 30 feet away from you to the edge, but right now they are both about 200 feet up the cliffs, up the sides of the cliffs. So you kind of got a 200-foot distance between you and them as it stands right now. Okie dokie. And the last thing you heard is they pretty much had hurled.
What?
Paul Stones, reset 8 months. Thanks for that, buddy. Spam your pants off and hit the hype. Alrighty, yeah. So, okay, so they'd hurled down huge boulders and rocks, and then crashed down in front of and behind the skiff. Radovan, aka Shaggot, used inspiration perfectly timed because he rolled a 1 on attempting to control the skiff and not smash into the rocks, but he got himself a reroll, which was kind of important because the 1 didn't happen, and he managed to instead bring the skiff to a controlled stop. Okay, alright guys, so yeah, I reckon it's probably pertinent to hurl some initiative.
What? It's so funny when you say that, like I fumble through all my shit trying to get to the right spot to no, I must roll first because Jane has this weird thing about rolling 20s right off the damn bat.
Right.
Oh, I got
That's true, she does. But not today.
Not today.
Not today.
Messed up today.
Not today, Mr. Death. Not today.
Gotta restart everything.
Prepare to attack.
There's the music. Ugh.
I'll go ahead and roll for Beecham. Oh, look at that! I'll have a.
Oh man!
I'll have a 20 off the bat.
Hey, man.
You're lucky that that was for Beecham's initiative roll.
Right?
Alright, and we just need Marlowe's and then we're good.
Yeah, I had to restart roll 20, so it's taking me a second. Now I gotta.
Okay. It was giving you fits.
Yeah, and now it's not letting me click me. Oh, man.
You sure you're on the clicker?
Yeah. Why is it not letting me?
I don't know. It's letting me select all of them.
It let me before I restarted. What the fudge?
A minor technical issue with Roll20. If you would just bear with us just a moment.
I guess I'll do it again. And then if that doesn't work, I'll just...
Make sure you've got the arrow selected on the little panel on the side.
That's what I meant.
I do. I don't...
Yeah.
Little cookie.
I'm going to restart one more time. If it doesn't work, I'll just...
Well, click the other thing, the ruler, and then click back. Maybe that'll, like, it still thinks it's not on it.
No. Select me.
Evil technical difficulties.
Character sheet. Back.
Hey, Shaggy, you can click me, says Junk Farmer.
I will click you,
Oh.
Click you all night long.
I'll click you really hard.
There. Now it let me click me.
6, so
there you
probably
go.
don't want that.
Alright, so let's see what Marlowe can come up with.
Stats. Come on. Oh, I need to mute my phone. I have no idea where it is. Hopefully y'all didn't hear it.
It's almost a 1.
Alrighty. Okay, and then I shall roll for the big fellows.
Yes, please. Roll the 1. Thank you. You know, just a 1. We're friendly.
Alright, and they are going on a... there for chat. Okay. So Beecham actually is going to get to act first. So seeing this, he like leaps off the cart, draws his rapier and says, "Good Lord!" Leaping off the back of the skiff, and he is going to position himself in, like, crouched down in amongst these boulders here in the corner. And I just noticed that Beecham needs to be moved to the front, because otherwise those boulders are going to be a pain in the ass. Okay. Marlowe, you're up. What's up, Killer?
Who's muted?
Yeah, you didn't miss anything. I was just talking to myself. I want to do? I guess I'm gonna get down and get closer to the edge of the. Where
Okay,
he
so you're
can't
going to kind of
hit
go
me as
over to the
good.
base of the cliff on that side to where the giant is descending. Alrighty, Kia.
Yeah.
Hi. All right. I'm going to react by immediately turning to the side, looking at this one here, up at this one,
Okay, the one
and
coming down from the south.
I wave my hands and I cast a giant earth elemental right behind it. I guess I don't know how big the plateau is they're standing on though.
There is no plateau. They are coming
What are they
like
doing?
down the side of the cliff. Yeah.
Oh, they're
it's
on
like
the
a
side
steep.
of the cliff.
Yeah, it's like a steep.
Okay. In that case, I'll probably do it like right where it meets the bottom of the cliff then.
All right.
And reading on this, I think the earth elemental can attack immediately, or I guess I don't know how close it is though.
It can, but if it's at the bottom, it's not going to be in range
Yeah.
yet. So go ahead and give me an initiative roll for the Earth Elemental.
Sure. That is -1. Oh.
Same as the Frost Giants. So a 10. All right, so that he goes at pretty much at the same time as Rado. But we'll resolve Radovan's action first, seeing as he is a player character and the other thing is not. Okay.
More important. No.
All right, Radovan.
Well, since everyone's doing what they're doing, my immediate reaction is kind of foobarred. But there is definitely distance between these two, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
in terms of
basically-
height and.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to cast Blade Barrier right between them.
Okie dokie.
So it's I know it's like a cliff and there's distance, so it's just going to kind of appear in front of the rock elemental.
All right. So you're going to kind of like put it on the side of the cliff. So the rock elemental's down here at the bottom. The giant's coming down to him, and you're going to kind of put it just on the cliff above.
Yeah, on the cliff, kind of shooting up. It goes 20 feet, and it's a big fucker.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to like box it in, I guess. So however that works with it.
How are you going to explain to me?
Well,
what
it's
you mean by
300. It's
box?
320 feet long, or ringed wall of whirling blades with a radius of up to 40 feet, either form 20 feet high. So
you want to kind of like create a ring around it? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, kind of like up
Okay.
the mountain, and so it's like an awkward rhombus, I guess you could call it, right? Because it's at an angle, because the cliff is
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
All right. You know what? I really don't have anything particularly great that I can use for that that's going to work. So we just know it's there.
Okay.
There's a blade barrier, and as you say, it's kind of laying against the side as the giant's in it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And the elemental, well, I guess he really, it's up to him. If he wants to walk up there and walk into the blade barrier, he can.
Hell no.
It gives if two things are on opposite sides of it, it gives them +4 to their AC, just so you guys know. So
While trying to hit each other through it, yes.
through it, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
that's right.
But it's really wide, you're saying too?
Well, it's like
He's put it, it's 20 foot
Around.
tall, and
Oh,
it's
wow.
circled all the way around the frost giant. But of course, it's at an angle because it's on the side of the cliff. So the frost giant is like here, and it's kind of like in a weird angle around him.
Okay, what I would like to do is an ability called Earth Glide.
Okay.
Can you say that, please? Oh no, that's on my end. Sorry. Where basically it says an Earth Elemental can glide through stone, dirt, or almost any sort, leaving behind no tunnel or hole. Does not create any ripple or signs of its presence. So basically, I can just kind of use that to move. Kind
Right,
of. But,
yes, you can kind of use that to move
um,
in amongst the inside
Can I-
the rock.
Okay. Can I do that to move through the rock and dirt over to the over to this guy? The other giant?
So you mean like go underneath the skiff and then re-emerge up on the other side?
Yeah.
Totally can do that. Yep. So if you choose to do that, I think. Let's see. What's its movement rate on that? Still only 30. It's still 30 feet. So
30 feet. Yeah, do 30 feet.
So basically, it's got to go like 20 foot down to disappear under the earth, and then move along. So it won't get to the other. It won't appear behind you. It'll be like underneath the skiff this round.
This
It'll have to
round.
come up
Okay.
next round. Is that what you want to do? Yeah. Okay. Now I'm just
And
gonna-
from oh wait, not my turn. Never mind.
Okay, so it burrows down. Alrighty. Oh, and I totally forgot to do the frost giants because they should have happened before Radaban. But that's fine. They held their action to figure out what you were doing. That's what they were doing. Okay. So as the wall appears around the frost elemental, I'm going to give him a reflex save. The frost elemental, the frost giant. His reflex saves are only a plus
I was
3.
thinking, oh god, there's a frost elemental too.
Right. 20 plus 3. And what is the...
It's 20.
It would be 20. Right, okay. So we're going to make a dice roll for this.
Ugh.
All right. So what actually happened is the frost elemental leaps into the air. Like he's going to try to jump over it and come down on the skiff where you guys are. However, he doesn't jump high enough, so he takes 43 points of damage as he basically, as his lower legs get slashed and eviscerated by the blade barriers around him. But he is coming down right here.
Oh, fuck me.
Radovan and Keeliana, you may make a reflex save if you wish, so that you don't basically get trampled.
Oh.
Don't break
Can I
our
use my
skip. We just
inspiration?
got it.
You've used your inspiration already.
I know,
You don't
but I
have
still
it.
want to.
But 20 is enough. Okay, so Keeliana, you're able to throw yourself out to the side. Radovan, you're able to kind of throw yourself as he comes crashing down on the skiff itself with almighty... Neither one of you are trampled on.
The skiff, however...
We just got it.
Yeah, you can't
why
have nice
we have
things.
nice things.
All right, okay. He lands on the skiff. Bearing in mind, this thing is actually like a, as I said, it's like a wagon with runners. So basically, the base of the skiff holds true, but his feet go crashing straight down through the ceiling. So you now have more of a cart skiff than a wagon skiff. But it is effectively still there. So that's what he's going to do for his movement, and he is then going to just swing with the weapons in his right hand, so logically he's just going to lash out across from the side swing to try to catch Radovan with his axe, if he can do so.
Well, 22 is the AC, so he's probably going to hit.
Almost certainly. Yep, 27.
Fuck my life.
All right. The mighty blow under the sheer force of the strength of the frost giant smashes into Radovan's back and shoulder for 26 points of damage. You're kind of almost thrown to the ground, but you're able to stumble and maintain your feet. Okay, the other one, seeing that, is going to just continue to hurtle down the side, and he will be at the bottom ready to engage Marlowe on the next turn. But that's going to take, since he's not jumping, that's going to take his entire turn to get there. Okay. Beecham, seeing this, is going to try to skulk around the side of the cart here. Marlowe, so you have a humongous giant standing directly in front of you. You come up to halfway up his shin, pretty much. Maybe a little bit higher, not much though. Right, what do you want to do?
So you're talking about the guy right here?
Yes, he is
Like-
now down the cliff face, and he is right there with you.
All right, let me
So you're
take
like
a couple
in
steps
melee
back
range
so I
with
can
him.
see.
Yeah.
All right, let's unload on this bastard.
All right. Let him have it.
Yay! Do it!
I haven't got to do my new thingy yet. I hope this shit works. Okay.
Thingy hype. Woo.
Yeah.
Use your thingy.
Oh, I'm using it.
So what are you doing in Greater Flurry?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's right, with the hulu. Yeah.
All right.
That's only 4 attacks.
No, it's fine.
We
Oh, it
fixed
did
it. It
another
does
one,
one
okay.
above it. It's the only way we could make it happen.
Some pretty garbage rolls though.
Thingy.
All right. You hit it once. The first attack
Jesus.
Boy.
is the only one, and you got a fumble,
Yay.
which is a so. Okay, a minor distraction causes you to suffer -2 to hit on your next attacks. So on your next
Okay,
round, so you'll be at
good.
-2. Okay, so you punch the giant in the shin, and it's just hard as a rock.
It's just kind of like, what the hell was this?
He's like, he looks down at you like, "Are you kidding? Really? Are you kidding?"
It's all I got. Shut up. Don't be patronizing.
That's all I can do, damn it! All right, Kia.
Yeah, you see me press off the ground as I cast Fly on myself and go 30 feet
Okay, so
up
you're gonna
and this
hover.
way a little bit.
Let me move you to the front. Hang on. Stay there. There. Okay.
Yeah, just going up into the left a little bit, 30 feet.
I'm just going to go ahead and move all of you guys to the front layer. So that it makes life easier. Okay. All right, so you pretty much just hover up. You cast Fly and hover up 30 feet. All right.
Yes.
Okay, it is their turn. Okie dokie. This giant is not even going to attempt to pull himself free from the
Oh shit.
cart and is going to unload once
Wait,
again.
when was the elementals?
He
turn?
goes
It's on my
after
turn with
Radovan,
me.
so he's not up yet.
Okay, cool.
All right, so the first attack as he swings his massive two-handed axe at you.
Oh, you go
Why
again.
is that not there? Okay. Oh, and it's a
Oh,
fumble.
nice!
All right,
Sweet!
and his
So
fumble.
lucky.
You left yourself open. Opponent gets +1 to hit on his next attack. So anyone hitting him until his next turn will get a +1 to hit him.
Praise Jeebus.
All right, and a 20 doesn't hit. Okay, so he doesn't hit you. Marlo, you got
a
giant.
-2.
Okay.
Oh wait, he's attacking me. Okay.
Yeah, he swings at you twice.
Miss.
24
5
and
times.
23. Okay, barely misses both times. With Marlo's stealth and
Wow.
ingenuity, she is able to duck, dodge, and weave her way between the swinging of his axes. Okay.
Which on my old on-screen thing in the little box, guys, my AC is wrong. I'm actually at 25 now.
Oh, so your AC is 25. Hang on. And Rado's intelligence is actually 100.
That's my charisma is 15.
Oh, your charisma is.
Yeah, I was looking at the wrong thing.
Yeah, my natural
Okay.
AC went up by 1.
Okay, I'll
so.
fix those for you before the next show.
OP, man.
So there you go. All right. That was Marlo. So so that was that attack on that. So now Radovan.
I am going to be using my strength domain to Hulk out and get a full attack on this sucker.
Okay, and don't forget you have a +1 due to the fact that he's left himself open with the fumble.
Okay. Also, do I have a flank? Is the question.
No, because there's nobody technically close enough to hit him
Okay.
in combat with him.
Cool.
Because Beecham's too far away, and Kia is like hovering up behind him, but not close enough to pose a threat in melee. So I'm afraid.
All right. So I'm hulking out. So I'm getting really strong with my strength domain special, and I am just wailing, I guess, at his groin.
3 solid hits. Holy crap!
It's like,
Look at the damage.
Hitting one knee, hitting the other knee, hitting the balls.
Okay, so it's like crack, crack, and then.
That's all I can reach, right?
All right. Okay. Yeah. And this is the guy that you've already hit with that. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 56 points of damage.
And as a free action, I am activating my ring of not the special ring. Let me get it. The ring of stone skin. Once per week.
Okay.
100. So
you need to record the fact that that you have used it for this week. Then.
Okay. Done.
Okay. So that gives you like that gives you a huge hit point buffer.
Well, it's 110 damage reduction, but I think it's per hit you get 10 less, right? Like
yeah, it takes 10 off of each hit
of every hit up to
until it's
100.
lost 100. Yeah. So
Okay.
basically the next 11 hits you'll be taking 10 left, which is nice. That doesn't hurt.
It's pretty good.
Okay. All right. So now it is the elementals. So Kia's elemental can emerge.
Oh, he's gonna emerge and be like, "Sup?"
So you want to like have him like come right out of the ground, like right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, "Hello," and that's his move, right? So he
can still make a single attack if he wishes.
A single attack, which I would love to do. So that's I get +1 since we're both on Earth, so that's going to be a +20.
Yeah, he's up there.
So
basically, as long as he doesn't fumble, he hits. Okay,
yeah.
Solid blow.
All right, so the attack +1, so 2d10 +1, +10. Sorry. 2d10.
Alright, he brings back his mighty stone fist and smacks the frost giant, delivering 18 points of damage. Okay. Beecham. Okay, Beecham is spending this round. He is climbing up the back of the cart and getting himself perched on the, like, what's left of the roof. Positioning himself ready to make a sneak attack. Marlo.
Okay, so I am taking a -2. Is that just to my first attack of flurry, or is it all of them?
This turn, yeah.
Okay, so I can just enter it here.
-2 for all of them this turn.
Okay, nothing happened.
It's a miracle.
What did I do wrong? Oh, there it goes.
There it goes. I think it just was taking its time. So does that include the minuses?
Yes.
Oh,
All right, then you hit it twice with your second and third attack, doing an additional 15 points.
Yay!
All right. So you go to work kicking and punching. Kia, what do you wish to do?
Hey, I wish. No, I go up kind of 30. Well, what's the wind doing? If I like go above the cliff, I'm guessing.
Well,
it's pretty crazy.
the wind is pretty strong, but you are shielded somewhat from the fact that there's the cliffs on either side of you.
So I'll just go higher, just to the cliff. All right.
Yeah. Just don't go above like 200 feet.
Oh, that's how tall the cliffs are? Wow. Yeah. Okay, I'll go 30 feet higher, and I'll be casting...
So you're now 60 feet in the air.
Yes!
Okay.
Lightning. Wise are my tips at the one that's been hurt a lot already. This. And I believe the other giant's tall enough to ricochet to it without hitting anybody. Can't tell though.
Well, your elemental's probably up there.
How tall is elemental?
If it's huge, or you say is it huge or colossal?
It's huge.
Then it's as tall as almost as tall as these. Darn it. It's almost as tall as the giant.
All right, so if I tried to ricochet, it would hit somebody.
I mean, it could hit your giant. Yeah, I would give it a 50-50 of it hitting your elemental in the back or striking the other. It's your choice if you want to risk it or not.
I'm gonna risk that.
Okay.
I do more damage in my elemental. Yeah, so I'm going to spray some lightning at that guy.
All right, go ahead. Lightning.
Oh. Oh no.
You lost
Okay.
it. Sorry, you lost your
16d6.
spell out of your memory.
My macro broke, so I'm just going to
There you go.
Oh my god!
For 55, and that's not right. And I believe that's a save, so he takes half.
Hey! No!
So he'll take 25, 28 from that. Okay.
Does he just have to pass my level 6? Oh, it's a 20. Dang it, he just saved.
Yep. Alright, you do or don't want to try to ricochet it?
I'm gonna try to ricochet it.
Alright, roll the percentage dice. If it's under a 50, it will miss your elemental and just hit him. Over a 50, and it will slam your elemental in the back instead.
Ah! Okay. Risk,
Bobbin
here
Wee.
goes.
You lucked out. Okay, so half of that damage then goes to the other one. And he also saves, so he takes half of half.
Okay.
So he's going to take
14.
14, right.
Boo.
Or 13. 13. This is 26.
That's right.
Come on, 14.
Alrighty. Now let me give you a state
28.
of play here. Okay, this one that you guys are fighting on here, he is burnt, he is charred, and he is bloody. And I'm going to turn that off because that doesn't work. He's too big. Okay, so he is really, he's breathing hard, laboriously. It is their turn. Okay. He picks up his mighty axe, and once again, he's got no reason to change his target, so he's swinging at Radovan.
Oh, man.
That
And
hits.
he will hit him twice.
Oh, that's twice.
So Radovan, you will be deducting 10 from each of these. So I can go ahead and do
So
that.
awesome.
So he actually hits
Thank you.
So the first hit after your stone skin absorbs 10 of it is for 17. And the second blow that he hits you is for 16.
Oh, okay.
So a total of 33 points of additional damage actually goes through to hit you. Okay, the other one. Okay, he is... Logic would dictate that he is going to try to he's going to pound on the earth elemental just purely because
Dare you.
it's much bigger, it's more of a threat, and Marlowe hasn't really done that much to him yet.
Asshole.
So he hits your
Should be swinging at me.
twice, I believe.
His AC's only 18, so.
Yep. Alrighty. So the first blow does 23 to your elemental. The second one does 20, so 43 points of damage to the elemental.
Right.
All right. Radovan, you are up. You do have a flanking bonus this time because Beecham is behind him and is technically in melee.
Okay. So I'm just going to do a full attack because I ain't risking the spell cast because, probably not work. So just a full attack with the flank.
You hit him twice. The first two blows land solidly. 18. Okay. As the second mace smashes into his knee, or as the first mace smashes into his kneecap, you sort of see him stumble and crash out the side of the cart. So the side of the cart gives way as he comes crashing to the ground. Seizing the opportunity, Radovan then brings the mace hard down, right into his face with a gratifying crunch. It buries itself deep into his eye socket as Radovan pulls it out. He is no longer moving. He has ceased to be as he lays dead against the side of the mountain.
I'm going to use my movement to kind of go on one knee myself and kind of just breathe heavily.
Okay. All right, Elemental.
Hey. Hi.
Is that how Elementals talk?
Hi. I'll be doing my full attack, which is 2
Okay.
spams. It's 20. Sorry, 1d20 plus 20. There's first attack.
Okay, the Elemental
Attack.
hits with the first.
Ouch!
It hits with both. As long as it doesn't fumble.
Really?
Yeah, he hits with both. Their AC is only 21.
Okay.
So yeah, he lands 2 big, mighty stone fists. One
So
to the
that's-
stomach and one to the jaw of the frost giant.
Plus 20.
For a total of
Right.
31
2 ones.
points.
Of course.
All right. Okay, the frost giant kind of reels back from the second blow, but still seems in very good physical, still a very good physical state. Okay, seeing that the giant just got torn out of the side of the cart or the wagon that he landed in, as Beecham was poised, ready to strike, you see Beecham just kind of like and climb down off the back of the cart, and he just goes and leans over here and rests himself up against the side of the rocks. Okay, Marlo.
Oh,
Oh,
Was that
look at that.
19?
That's a
19,
19, but not a 20, and another 19, but not a 20. But that's an awful lot of damage. So we have, let's see, 8 and 9, so 17,
Pay attention to me, damn it!
17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 32, 42, 44 points of damage. Yeah, that guy's
Bouncing up and
attention.
down. Don't ignore me.
Getting jealous.
All right, yeah. So pretty much you just attack his right leg as if it was a tree that you were trying to hack down. After blow and round kick after round kick, his knee begins to buckle, and you can start seeing the superficial bruising, underneath as his kind of like knee is beginning to kind of like shake and quiver. We have Kia, you're up.
Sure. Okay, I'm gonna try to finish him off by sending another
Kill steal that shit.
jolt of lightning at him.
Okay. For
Ooh.
58, his save for that is
Please fail.
this.
Hey!
That's a pretty epic
Yes!
fail. Okay, the lightning smashes into his chest solidly. Let's see. Blasting him backwards. He's dead on impact, and he is now also laying up against the side of the cliff as he kind of slopes down into a seated position. Both the 2 frost giants are now dead, laying up against the side of the very cliffs that they dared to come down to mess with you.
Right. Before my rock elemental disappears, I'm gonna order him to try to start pushing at these rocks to see if they'll budge.
Yeah, he is big enough and strong enough to laboriously move those.
I am going to be casting a heal on myself because I really need it.
Okay. Alrighty, so you heal yourself for 29 points of damage.
Oh.
Is this skiff too broken to use a mending spell, or is it repairable?
It's pretty big. What's the...
It's just like a level 1 spell, though. Or
Yeah,
level 0 spell.
the most efficient thing you can really do now is to pull the rest of the wood from the side of the cart, of the wagon, and allow it to become a cart.
Gotcha.
I mean, alternatively, you've still got it still has like the right side of it is still, or the left-hand side of the cart is still physically intact. So I mean, it offers you some kind of protection against anything coming from that side, but it really isn't doing much to protect you from the elements anymore. As soon as the roof is completely missing, and the right-hand side got torn completely off as he fell out of it.
Okay.
We could maybe try to salvage the wood of the structure and give me a day, and I can possibly repair it fully. Can we do that?
I'm gonna half listen to him as I walk towards the giants to check out like their forms.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, check out their form.
If you want, Beecham will help you gather up all the wood and just throw it up on the cart for sure,
right,
onto the back of the skiff. That'll work. Okay, so you can examine the ginormous frost
See
giants.
if they have anything interesting on them too.
Okay. Alrighty. So you want to kind of like
big guys.
Obviously, they have ginormous helmets that are bigger than. I mean, most of you could, you could feasibly sit in them. They're that large. The rudimentary thick hide armor is pretty much too big for any use. Although it's large enough to be considered a canvas if you wanted to like use
right,
that.
I was just thinking.
Try to repair the
So,
wagon,
like, you could like cut that off and like use it to kind of like make a makeshift canvas over the top. It's big enough for that.
Pair that with a mending spell, eh?
You have a.
I have a sewing needle, but I don't think you need it if you have a mending spell. Wait to outsource me.
I got this needle.
I don't want to be crude, but are you like stripping him naked? I mean, are we going to see some giant
shirt.
bits?
It's just as large. Yeah,
you weren't crude until you said giant bits.
I don't think you have to really expose his frosticle, or his frosticle. You don't have to do that. Or his freeze pop or whatever.
Yeah, he can keep his undies.
Yeah. But obviously he has a giant-sized two-handed axe, which is almost bigger than any one of you can lift. And the other one has two huge hand axes that are pretty much like large battle axes to you guys. So, they, in theory, could be used. Kia, also, if you're rooting through his pockets and stuff,
Yeah. Which means just walking into them.
A lot of what looks like raw. Initially, it looks like rocks. Like he's got a whole bunch of rocks stuffed in his pants pockets. But on closer inspection, you can see like little bits of glistening stuff inside them. So it looks like he's actually probably got some rocks that contain some raw gems and stuff like that in there. I mean, if you was to like tap the rock and get the gems out free from there, yeah.
I'm going to show who I know cares the most. Beecham. Like, hey, Beecham, check out these rocks. Think you can find something out of this? Make something out of it?
Alright, so we'll have Beecham go ahead and do an appraisal for you. Where the hell did that go? Huh, it just vanished. Why you do this to me, Roll20? Why you be mean?
I'm gonna check on the goats while y'all are doing that. Okay. Make sure they're not like having panic attacks or something.
Well, I mean, they're still attached to the cart. They were pretty scared and kind of like bucking up and down during the fight, but I mean, they're okay. They're intact and they're not really hurt.
Well, I'm healing myself one more time.
Right.
They're like, thanks for nothing, guys. You're just gonna leave us attached to the damn cart while it was being crushed.
Okay. As Beecham is looking at him, he says,
Wow.
It seems as though these ginormous fellows had picked up some, there could possibly be an emerald mine around here somewhere. If I'm not mistaken, these are very small emeralds.
Really?
I prefer jade.
Which is, jade is pretty, but it certainly doesn't have the monetary value of an emerald.
Who cares about money? Oh, sorry.
Probably get with the right tools, we could chip away at the rock and get the emeralds out. Who knows? I mean, some of the rocks are like this big.
Okay.
So
would it be something the lowlanders would be interested in at all?
I very much doubt it. But if you want me to keep hold of them, I can certainly make sure that when I have time, I could visit possibly the blacksmith and use his tools to chip the emeralds out.
Yes, please. What about the Valkyrie? Would they find these interesting?
Probably.
I like gold.
Oh
Well, the
Who gives a
Highlanders.
damn? They're the
too.
bad people.
They like anything that is shiny or... See, the Valkyria don't really like stuff so much for its monetary value, more its appearance.
So they'll like emeralds.
They're more likely to take gaudy gold jewelry or cups or candelabras and these sort of things to adorn, adorn their primitive hovels with, as
I'm
opposed
gonna
to...
look at Beecham as he says, or Jade.
Well, yes, jade too, I suppose.
What about the Highlanders? Could we possibly extract enough to use that as currency to get them on our side?
Well, I mean, the Highlanders, you're going to have to pretty much pay them to fight. You might as well consider them mercenaries. I'm sure if you pay them enough. Of course, with the tensions between them and the Lowlanders, I don't know if you'd end up having more infighting than... But I dare say someone with your military expertise can find a way to segregate them on the battlefield so that they stay away from each other.
I'm sorry, I'm reminded of that South Park movie that was so fucked up. Sorry, okay.
Well, we're gonna have to try to get the Lowlanders and Highlanders to be civil eventually.
Yes, well, I think you'll have more success convincing the dwarves to be more social than you will that, but I do not possess your unnatural talents of diplomacy.
Well, you said these came from some kind of mine.
Well, I honestly don't know where they got them from, but there may be some kind of deposit, not necessarily an actual physically structured mine, you understand, but it could be a mineral deposit or a gem deposit that, if we knew where it was...
Well, then there's also the cash. I mean, we never found that.
Well, no, that's something we're going to worry about at a more appropriate time, I suppose. I mean, we were looking for that when we stumbled across that dwarven citadel.
Yes.
But we seem to have found ourselves running errands for dwarves instead of finding hidden dwarven caches. So,
well, you said it was further up in the mountains. My suspicion is we shouldn't have gone to the west. We should have gone north when we had that option. Probably would be where it would be. But
it's quite possible. Of course, this mountain range is quite expansive.
Well, we'll keep that in mind. Should we load up everything and make haste?
Yes.
All right. So, yeah, Beecham clambers up on the back.
Take control of the reins
While
again.
you've still got that elemental, do you want to move the pile of rocks at the back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that way they can...
All right.
I feel like any hindrance for them to trade each other is just going to stop them. Like, nope, not going to do this
Well, and
anymore.
in theory, you better come back, so...
Yeah.
All right, so you reacquaint yourselves with your broken and damaged skiff. Fortunately, it still runs just fine. So it's just a lot colder and more open air than it was before.
All right,
Well,
goats.
we're doing the hide canvas, right? I mean,
Yeah,
we did that.
Yep.
All right.
Take some broken bits of wood, stick it up in the middle, have the hide canvas go over top of us. Create some, like, TP wagon, maybe.
TP. Yeah,
Right.
make some pizza TP. All right, and off you head back through the canyon in the direction, once again, of... you said you were going to Cairnemoore, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, another couple of days' travel eventually gets you out of the foothills of the mountains and through the crags towards the open area. So if you remember, as you left out from Cairnemoore, you kind of headed directly southeast towards Cairnemoore, and later the next afternoon, you can see the town of Cairnemoore ahead of you. Let me find Cairnemoore. All right. Okay, so you'll be kind of coming in from this side.
Can't say I missed this place.
It's a far cry different from
Roll20 is really being glitchy tonight.
from Carvarak.
Hey, it's not just me.
No, it's like jumping all over the place. The maps are like
Oh.
not scaling properly.
In this time, Gore, I would have cast Make Whole on the wagon with the
Okay.
broken bits of wood, so
Alrighty. Yeah.
we would have been back under cover, comfortable.
Excuse me. Alright, so you fully repair the skiff then. And make your way back into the village of Cairnemoore. Okay.
Also, before we enter, I would have read the dwarf trade agreements over those 2 days of travel.
Alright, well, I'm not going to go into the nuances of a dwarven trade agreement. Suffice it to say that their agreement, they think very highly of their part of the trade. And for each hammer or axe, they expect 6 crates of either fresh fruit or vegetables. Which probably isn't that unreasonable, considering how technically cheap a vegetable is compared to a dwarven forged axe.
Right.
But, you're not going to get an awful lot of weapons in exchange for a cartload of fresh fruit and vegetables. So, alright, so whereabouts do you guys want to go as you head back into town?
Do you want to go straight to,
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, so if you remember, Cairnemoore is home to the Erskine clan, and the chief here is Fingal Erskine, and his young son, who is also the chieftain, was Earnan. He was the one that was highly impressed with Marlowe and Kia's ability to fight, and ended up knocking one of the other guys across the room when they dared cast aspersions on you guys. Because he was the one that traveled with you guys to fight. When you went, you took him to find his fallen comrades, and he helped fight you. You know, you were fighting with him against the band of Valkyrie.
So, Earnan,
So,
Erskine, and Tinklewinkle?
Fingal Erskine is the chief.
Finkel?
Yeah, the chief is Fingal Erskine, and one of
Fingal.
his chieftains is his son Earnan.
Earnan, okay.
Yeah.
And it's Erskine. My pronunciation is horrible. I'm sick.
I don't
I'm
know.
sorry.
Erskine.
Erskine.
So we'll head straight to the chief's
Excuse me.
manor, home.
Okay. Alrighty.
Fucking chat, shut up. Say foreskin.
Fingal bronze skin, right? Okay, so you want to go to the chief's house.
Yes.
Alrighty. Okay. Once you arrive at the building, what do you want to do?
Knock on the door.
Okay.
Take the items that the dwarves would offer: the hammer, the swords, and the pick. Right.
Yeah.
Take them off the back of the cart.
Okay.
Tie up the
Alrighty.
goats, I guess, too.
Good idea.
Okie dokie. So the door is opened by what you remember and recognize as Fingal's good lady wife. Upon seeing you, she opens the door and invites you in. Oh, geez, get out of the cold.
Yes, sorry for intruding without any notice, but it's quite important.
All right. So, oh, there we go. So yeah, as soon as she opens the door and you come wandering in, you can hear across over by the blazing fire the familiar voice of Fingal Erskine bellowing out across the room. He goes, "Who is it that's at the door, lass?" He goes, it'll be those wee strangers that we saw a few weeks ago. And he's like, turns around and peers over the side of the chair, and then, heaves himself up out of the chair and makes his way across towards you.
Good evening.
Evening. So you're back then?
Yes, we are, with good news.
Okay, he looks at his wife and says, "Go fetch a few drams for our new guests." "Right away." And off she goes wandering off. "Well, come in. Sit yourself down."
Thank you.
And he takes you over towards the table. And by the time you get there, his wife comes charging out with a carafe of whiskey and lays it down on the table for you guys to help yourselves at. And then she heads back to the fire. "Well, so how fared your trip?"
We had a few snags, but we successfully navigated the north and the mountain pass, or what pass we could find, and made our way to the dwarf fortress of Carvarak, way up at the top of the mountain, or one of the mountains.
"You didn't run into any of those Donakid bastards then?"
No more
Highland
giants. None of that. We encountered more natural abominations, if you will, but that is neither here nor there.
Foul, ugly beasts.
Very much so. A couple
Faces
frost
like a
giants.
scalped arse.
Oh, I missed this guy. Yes, but the dwarfs were hospitable, and after a few days working for them, we were successful in brokering a possible trade deal with you that could be a benefit to us all.
Dwarves? What the
Yes.
bloody hell do dwarves have to trade with us?
I'm gonna show them the weapons that I have and put it on the table, kind of like
Armor.
Alright.
and the armor. Yeah.
Did you take armor?
Well, we didn't take armor. No.
I think so.
Yeah, we did. I thought we needed the armor.
No, they wouldn't use armor because they're
Oh.
lowlanders.
So basically, you took
Okay.
if I remember,
A sword, a hammer, and
a warhammer, a battle axe, and a sword.
right.
He kind of looks at him and he goes over and picks up the big hammer. Kind of, you see him like hold it and doesn't seem too impressed with it. He clunks it back down on the table. Then he picks up the axe and swings it left and right. And then he picks up the sword and turns it here and there and he goes, "Huh." Flipping it over. "Well, fine craftsmanship to be sure, but unwieldy, heavy, brutish things, these. Not the kind of things that we'd be interested in. Maybe the axe is good for chopping down trees or logs, but..."
Well, that's precisely what we thought. The axes would be used for your day-to-day labors with the forestry, and the hammer could be used by maybe your blacksmith for the preparing of more weapons and armaments or whatever you need.
You do understand the blacksmith knows how to make his own damn hammer.
This is dwarven make, sir.
So you're saying dwarven stuff is better than ours, is that it? I'd be saying that to the blacksmith if I were you. Not unless you want to have your head smashed in. Take great offence.
Fair enough.
Right, when you're talking to the blacksmith, you might want to shut your giggle and not mention anything about quality of weapons.
What about the sword, though? You guys use swords.
Aye, well, and he kind of like draws his basket-hilted broadsword, and he says, "It's akin to this, I suppose, but not really into the. We much prefer something that can wrap around your fist. That's why we have this beautiful, quality-crafted basket that goes around. When you get up close and personal, there's nothing like a good punch in the mouth with the edge of a covered fist on the edge of your sword. Fighting's dirty business."
Well, the dwarves also had armor, but we opted not to bring an example of that because it didn't seem like you guys would want it.
Well, we have our own type of armor, but what kind of armor are you talking about?
What kind of armor? What kind of armor were they wearing up there in Carbarak?
Heavy chain, mostly.
Heavy.
Somewhere.
So I'll say heavy chain, mostly. I'm just to say. Because I didn't ask, but I saw it, I know. So heavy chain, mostly.
Like, that sort of stuff, it's not good in this sort of weather. Cold and frozen, and weighs you down.
As you can see, I'm going to stand up and showcase my chain shirt that Beecham did. And let's say the Valkyrie have found a way to mitigate the colds on the metal, and I'm also going to extract one of the pouches of that smelly grease. This stops it from interlocking and freezing. It doesn't smell great, but not up here for the women, you know? I'm going to give a side glance at Key as I say this, kind of smirking.
He says,
I'm gonna be on the other side just going.
But still, it looks heavy, and it'll slow you down. If you had to charge across the battlefield screaming and wailing with such armor on.
You know what else slows you down? Being dead.
Aye, that does have a tendency to, put a stop to your tracks, so it does. And, what would they want in trade for such items?
Oh, just stuff you have plenty of, really. It wouldn't be
Like?
so bad. Fruits, vegetables.
I'm going to take out the trade agreement scroll and slide it across the table. It's like, this is what the marshal under the mountain has given us as
He picks it up
trade.
and begins to look at it, obviously after getting about the second sentence and realizing just how much dwarven jargon there. He just throws it back on the table. He says, well, come the summer that might be a fine agreement, but here in the winter, when the crops do not grow, we need all we've got to keep our own fed through the winter into the summer. So we didn't have a lot to spare, that's for sure.
I understand that, but with the Valkyrie breathing down our necks, the whole point of the trade agreement might not be the particulars of what you're giving them and what you're getting in return. It's them wanting to protect their interests, and the Valkyrie threatening those interests.
So the dwarves are scared of the Valkyrie as well.
No, that's kind of the problem. They are well insulated in their little fortress on top of that mountain. They don't care about the rest of the world, and so they're not willing to help. And this was a way to have them start caring. At least as far as we figure and reckoned.
So what do you propose? How do you think we can suddenly get a bunch of wee shites with beards to suddenly give a crap about what's going on down in the lowlands here below their mountains as they sit all lofty up in their halls?
Well, if you begin a small trade, they'll see that you guys aren't, so different, and perhaps soon maybe some kind of bond or friendship could form.
So you
It's
really
just all
think
about
that the
getting to
dwarves
know
ought
each other.
Come and fight for us because we give them a few cases of potatoes?
Well,
It'll take more than that. It's just the beginning.
but by the same token, they living up there, they don't have access to these kinds of amenities, and so I think it's more precious to them than they let on. Being dwarves, they're not going to say, "Oh, this is highly valuable to us." I mean, they'll want to get as much out of it as they can, but I think they desperately want it, personally.
Well, how much are we talking about?
Well, for one such weapon, it says 6 crates. That's what it said in the trade agreement.
Aye, but the weapons are really nothing to write home about. I mean, they're really nothing we need. What we need is for them to come down out of the damn halls and get their ass on the front line and help hold the lowlands against those Valkyrie sons of bitches. I mean, come the summer, we're more than happy. Give them a fair share of the crop if they prove themselves a use in defending our farms and our crops and the villages. But as I say, we have little to offer now.
Well,
So,
okay.
could you offer them a fair supply of fruit a lot of it for free in exchange for services now. I don't know if they'd go for that, but...
Life and limb for future promise?
It's fruitless.
Hey, dwarf little guys, would you want to sacrifice your life for some potatoes? Come with us
It would have
down
to
the
be
mountain.
For hypothetical potatoes,
5
we don't
years.
know.
Well, you're not even
5 years
necessarily
of
actually ever going
crops.
to get them.
5
Yeah, I mean,
years of
Beecham
crops
says, he
for
looks and
free.
says, well, he said the dwarves did tend to prize people's word. I don't know whether they would value the word of this fine lowland chief or not.
Well-
I believe they are of, while I don't know that you cannot trust them altogether, I think if you can get them to agree to something, it's my initial impression was that they probably would be fairly trustworthy in such a thing.
What, with that in mind, what has transpired down here in the last couple of weeks? I heard last week said you guys were going to talk to other tribes people and
Well, when you
maybe
last
start a
were
coalition.
here, if you remember, Bryce Duncan was here, chieftain for the Duncan clan.
Right. Remember that.
He came on behalf of his sick uncle, Uncle Muir. Muir is doing naught to do and probably won't see out the winter, that's for sure. But we have sent out word and have managed to at least get a few of the other lowland clans to take heed and pay attention to the potential plight that we might be facing. Of course, the ones that are further to the west didn't see it being such a big problem. But for us here in the east, where the farmland is good and the edge of the mountains, knowing as close as we are to where the Valkyrie could come down, we know full well that it'll be us that has to deal with them first.
So, have you guys had a opportunity to come together as one and kind of like all confer about this unified threats?
We have suggested a conclave.
And no luck?
We're waiting to hear
plans?
back. The Duncans have already agreed. They've said that they will attend. And we did have word for a couple of the clans to the west that said that they would also show willing. The McCullums, the McNeils. Oh, and Murtagh Skane said that he would come to the conclave, but didn't seem too eager to offer his support. He said that he had heard these rumours once already by some foreign folk. I assumed it was you.
It was.
And that
Didn't go
without
over too
solid
well.
proof, he would not provide men-at-arms from the Skene clan for such a foolhardy and unnecessary venture, was his exact words.
That doesn't surprise us. Our interactions with the Skanes were not... We weren't quite ready to deal with the cultural differences between where we're from and you fine folk. It was our error of judgment in how we approach them.
Well, if you've seen the man, you know the problems that he faces on a day-to-day basis.
He actually was not too keen to enlighten us about his problems,
Well,
even though we asked to offer our support.
I mean, he looked like a dog that licks piss off of nettles. Was not blessed in the,
The fuck
Looks.
does that mean?
he's not blessed in the, fine looks department. Tends to make him grumpy. Doesn't get much.
Looks like a dog that licks piss off a metal. I'm gonna use that in real life.
It's a good word. It's a good phrase. Like it. So he needs a wife?
Aye, but looking like he does. It'd be a fine challenge for him to woo a fair lassie to his bed. Unless either of you would like to
Take one for the team? What will it accomplish?
Well, probably nothing, but maybe put him in a better mood for negotiations that morn.
What about a shorter term solution?
Well,
I mean, Marlowe here would use his Bean and Frank's as a punching bag. Let's be real.
well, it'll be a lot. I mean, it'll be a tough challenge to make him more Hackett than he already is.
I can't think of anything to say to that.
Well,
But anyway, the conclave is for 14 days from now.
another 2 weeks, huh?
We'll know more then. And of course, these other clans might be willing to offer to chip in part of their winter stores, grain and vegetables and whatnot, to possibly make the deal a little bit more enterprising for the dwarves. But well, much like the dwarves have given us a small offering, we're in a position to give them a small offering of the new. Most of what we'd have to give would have to be in the form of a promissory note to be delivered in the summer.
Right.
Well, draft that. Emphasize that we would need. The Valkyrie would probably not be keen to trade or uphold such a deal, and that this offer is bound to expire if help is not rendered and aid not given.
Well,
I guess that's the least we could do at this juncture.
if the Valkyrie decide to descend upon the lowlands and set ablaze the farmland and stuff like that, then none of us are going to have much crops come summer.
Right.
But
Well,
as of now, you're the only ones that have actually really run into any of these Valkyrie. We've still not seen a living soul of them.
with that, I'm gonna take out the holy symbol that the cleric from the Valkyrie had, the Odin symbol, and I'm gonna put it on the table and be like, "This was from the one that summoned creatures from sky creatures that shot lightning."
I
Slide it across the
understand,
table.
But as I said, I mean, Ernan gave a good account of what happened that night. He explained that they set upon you from the rocks, and you had to fight to defend yourselves, and winged beasties come flying down, and the skies opened, and but other than that, we haven't seen any of the Valkyries yet. Don't get me wrong, it's not that we
That's
doubt
good.
that what you're seeing, and if they were indeed this far afield, and that was a small raiding party, well, that's a hell of a lot closer than they've ever been before, that's for sure.
Well, a part of me honestly wants to try to open some form of communication with him, knowing full well how dangerous that is, and probably how foolhardy.
But trying to talk to the Valkyrie, you may as well have your bum out the window.
Well, then of course there's the Highlanders, which we had spoke.
You're wasting your time with those bastards, that's for sure. Nothing but dishonourable vagabonds and thieves.
If that be the case, I would not personally be against finding some way to hire them and then putting them in a compromising position on the battlefield, so you folks would be better tended to in the war if it would happen.
I like the way you're thinking there, Mr.
Interesting
Radovan.
idea, Radovan.
That possibly can achieve multiple goals for us. If they're slaughtered, well, we have no more of the Donakids to deal with.
If they are indeed vagabonds, lawbreakers,
Oh, they
as
are
you
of the
say.
worst kind.
I mean, I'd have to find some way of confirming this, just
Well,
so my
you can
conscience
go
could be
and
clear.
Go sniff them out. Wouldn't it be hard with the stench of them? But you'd have to be off your heed to expect them to talk any sense or listen to anything rational.
Who do you hate more, them or the Valkyrie?
Them. The Valkyrie have yet to do out to us.
Interesting.
But the Donacades have stolen cattle, picked dry crop fields, butchered and murdered, killed barons in their sleep. Well, that might be a little bit of an over-exaggeration, but you get the point. We hate the bastards.
Can we go do something to the Donovans? Because the more he talks about it, the more irritated I get.
Who?
The what?
The Donacades.
UK.
The who? The what?
Donakeed, sorry.
Donovans? Oh.
The Donovans? Ray Donovan? Leaf Schreiber? What? What are you doing? Spook? No.
Them too. Whatever.
That being said, they are, being what they are, we know how to handle and deal with them. But these Vicari, if they decide to descend upon our open farms in mass, well, at that point, then indeed they would be much more of a threat.
Well, as I said, I would, of course, not do anything on the battlefield to enable this end that I just suggested. If it came to pass, it came to pass. Does that make sense?
Right.
I mean, war is confusing and chaotic, but we could possibly use it as also leverage to get the other clans on board if they've also been dealing with banditry from these Highlanders.
Well, I can tell you we'd rather stand side by side with a bearded shite than we would these filthy Donacades or other Highland scum. Do you think you know how to convince these wee laddies with beards to wave their axes in the right direction, then we're all for it.
Well, the promissory note you suggest about the potential for trade is a good first step.
Well, and as I said, when we have the conclave in 14 days' time, I can suggest to the other clan leaders that they also offer up a portion of their stores so that you can take it to the dwarves in a more timely fashion. You know, show goodwill and good intent.
What will we do in these 2 weeks while we wait for the conclave?
Could we try to seek out these Donovans?
Donakeys.
See what they're
Seek
all
out the
about?
Highlanders? Well, we would probably have to venture back into the mountains. Maybe find that dwarf, what Beecham said. I'm going to stumble over my words as I say that, not wanting to give it away.
Well,
do we know where they are?
Well, I can send young Ernan to point you in the right direction, that's for sure.
Really?
But be warned, you might be kicking a hornet's nest if you go looking for them. You might end up having more fighting to do.
Let's do it.
We'll be careful, and if it comes to it, I think we can handle ourselves.
And just remember, they're not to be trusted. Not at all. Not in the least. And even if they give their word, it's about as useful as fresh fruit on a pile of dog shite.
So I'm gonna look at Marlowe and say, so they have no honor.
None whatsoever. They'd stab you in the back as soon as look at you.
Good to know going
Do it. Let's do it.
Yes, we would love for Ernan to show us the way.
It says, well, we can make arrangements for that on the morrow if that's what you wish. But, as I said, it could be a folly.
We have to at least try.
I guess so.
Well, so before you go, Kicking said, Hornet's Nest, what exactly is your plan? Understand, a lot of these clan leaders, if they find out that we're supposed to be shacking up and fighting side by side with Highlanders, they're more than likely to remove their support.
Well, when that topic has to be broached, just remind them of the plan for when the war happens. Get them back on our side, you know?
Get who back on our side?
Get the people the other Lowlander clan leaders who would possibly want to leave with us utilizing the Highlanders as support. Say that we would structure the battlefields in a way that would maximize casualties on them and lessen on you.
Well,
while also furthering our ends to keep the lowlanders safe and alive and without the Valkyrie threats.
I like to think myself a progressive man. You know, thinks in a more modern fashion. Many of the other clan leaders are a little bit more, a wee tad more reserved. They may not see sense in your plan. Their hatred for the lowlanders or the Highlanders might be too deep. And you have to remember, this hatred brews on both sides. The Highlanders are not the fond of us either. Couldn't have promised that the wrong word gets said, the wrong squint gets seen across the field. Can't have promised that a sword in one hand won't end up in the heart or the belly of another that are technically on the same side.
Well, perhaps don't mention the Highlanders at this moment. We don't even know what'll happen with our interactions with them.
No,
perhaps last minute,
for the new.
Probably last minute, what would happen if they would fight as hired soldiers? Would they be a surprise X factor from another angle, on the battlefields, to sweep in and get the Valkyrie from behind, if you will?
Aye.
Shock troops, if you will.
Yeah, just take them from behind.
To such a thing, and it might be of a smart notion not to mention it to the other clans. Of course, someone would have to organize and lead the rabble.
I'm gonna lean back in my chair and I have led such a charge in the past.
Harlevan.
What's Kia?
You don't need to be leading any charges.
I did not die, and it would add to the trust factor of the group.
You look pretty alive to me.
We're here to... This is not what you're here for. You're here to be a diplomat, not a warrior.
Well, maybe we have to be warriors too, Kia.
He says, well, if it comes down to it, and there is a battle, blood's gonna spill on both sides, that's for sure. And plenty of it.
We're gonna meet with the Highlanders regardless, at least to see where they are and what their position is, what has happened to them. So obviously don't mention it to any of the other clans' leaders. Draft the promissory note for the dwarves, well, in our absence and before this conclave happens. We should be back before then, I think.
If you come back at all. But you seem very capable, so I'm sure you will.
Anything else that we could possibly do for you guys?
Consider offering multiple summers, not just one summer. I don't think that would suffice with the dwarves. To give up lives.
No, we'll talk it over.
Okay.
Jolly good.
Tomorrow then. Jolly good day.
I'm gonna get up and give it like a little nod.
Well, I'll see you on the morrow.
Yes, good day.
Alrighty.
Good day, sir.
And where do you
Walk
go
out.
from
I
there?
said good day.
Alright.
To the tavern, I guess.
Alrighty. Tavern.
Get the goats squared away. The skiff set up somewhere.
Alright.
We take a
Okay.
quick break.
And
We should probably do it. Right, yeah.
there we go. Just a couple more of these fellas in here. Alright. Yep, so once you've taken care of that, you enter back into the tavern. Hi there, I'm Gorbad. Welcome to the Orc's Nest. I'm the Dungeon Master here on How We Roll, and if you'd like to follow me personally, you can do so on Twitter @Gorbad. Check out thedmblog.com for all things Dungeon Master and Dungeons and Dragons related. And of course, you can follow me on twitch.tv/Gorbad. Also, guys, don't forget to keep up with all things How We Roll. Follow us on Twitter @HowWeRoll. Check out the website www.howweroll.com, and make sure you follow us on YouTube as well. Cheers, guys.
Shagget here. On How Reroll, I play Radovan Rainier, War Priest of St. Cuthbert, who just so happened to author a new academic book that's coming soon. It's titled Libido Rectification for the Required Propagation of Arconis' Depleted Men-at-Arms. Or more affectionately titled, Mandate Number 2, and You. You can follow me on Twitter at @aneb_convos for upcoming book excerpts. Just to get the hype going, push up the sales. Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, I'm the Dragon Spooker, and I play Marlo Rayfell, monk and resident badass for How Reroll. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so using @DragonSpooker, or follow my Twitch channel, which I sometimes stream on, twitch.tv/TheDragonSpooker.
Hi, thanks for watching another episode of How Reroll. I am Jane Ivana, and this is my lovely cat, Norman, who really doesn't want to be here right now. You can follow me on Twitter, @Jane on Twitch with a 0. Shh, don't tell him, he doesn't like birds. I stream occasionally on twitch.tv/JaneIvana, so you can find me there. And I guess that's all we got. You got something to say? Nope. Peace, suckers. Bye.